In this episode of the Cretaceous Campcast, I've got some toy updates, a contest, a new Netflix synopsis, and I'm going to give my predictions on what's going to come up in the final trailer that we're expected to see pretty much any day now. So stick around and see what I've got to say. Hello, welcome to the Cretaceous Campcast. I'm Cretaceous Dave, and this is a podcast all about Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous and Jurassic World Chaos Theory. In this episode, I'm going to give my predictions on the final trailer, which my guess is going to come no later than 10 days from now. Could be wrong, but we'll see. But before we get to that, we've got some toy updates. We've got a Lego update. We've got a contest where you can win a trip to Universal. And we've also got a new synopsis on Netflix. So before I get into my trailer predictions, I'm going to go over all of that stuff. First, toy updates. If you remember in the last episode, I said that Big Bad Toy Store in the US was selling the Roar Strike series of toys. In fact, I posted a video of the toys I got from that line, Chaos Theory packaging and everything. Well, one day they were all available for sale on the website. The next day, they were all gone. Not sold out, products totally removed. If you went directly to a product page for one of the dinosaurs, it just said the page wasn't found. It's like they didn't even exist anymore. Same thing happened with the direct links to the dinosaurs on Walmart.com. I had the links for one of the particular dinosaurs because I had the UPC of it. Actually, now that I have all in hand, I could have checked the link for all of them because I have the UPC for all of them. But this is before I had mine. And that also says page not found anymore either. So I'm wondering if those toys were not supposed to be out there yet. As far as I know, no one that's been posting pictures of them, myself included, has gotten takedown notices, but it wouldn't be the first time that Universal or Mattel came after people for posting pictures of toys they legitimately bought on the store shelves. So it's just something to keep an eye on. If you do come across those toys, sounds like they're a little bit harder to get right now until at least the show comes out. And speaking of unexpected toys, there's new toys on the shelves at Target in Australia. You may have seen the pictures floating around. I'm definitely not going to talk about what's in it because, like most toys, it could be a spoiler. Who knows? With Camp Cretaceous, any of the packs that had a human and dinosaur, the dinosaurs were related to what were in the show, I think, for all of them. Now I'm second guessing myself. I don't know. Anyway, this is a human dinosaur pack that has been found on shelves in Target in Australia. It looks really cool. I'm really excited. I have no idea if this stuff is going to be in the show, but it's exciting that we're starting to see merchandise trickle out, onto store shelves. It means the show is getting that much closer. Promotion's going to start kicking off probably full speed ahead in the next week or so. That's my hope anyway. And based on some of the other things I'm going to talk about, I think that is the case, that we're going to see really, really soon stuff start happening to promote the show. One other thing on the toy front, there have been some new Lego Chaos Theory toy sets unofficially announced. There are some websites that go over new Lego releases and whatnot, and they had 3 Chaos Theory specific sets that they went over. Again, I'm not going to say what they are in case they're spoilers. Lego could be really hit or miss. Some Lego sets can be completely off the wall, like the set with Darius and Owen and a Baryonyx on a boat. We know nothing like that ever happened. Well, there were Baryonyxes on a boat, but not the same time as Darius, and Owen never showed up. But, some of the sets could be wild. But there are also sets that are huge, huge spoilers for franchises. It happens with Lego Star Wars. It actually happened with Fallen Kingdom. So I'm going to stay away from telling you what these sets are, but any of the websites that are well known for giving information on upcoming Lego sets and whatnot, you can find that information there. And they have a June 1st street date. So the week after the show premieres, these Lego sets will be on store shelves. They sound pretty cool. One of them in particular, I definitely want to check out for myself. Or when they're officially shown off, I'll take a look at the photos and see what it looks like, because it sounds pretty exciting. Then, as I also mentioned, today we found out about a contest. Luca, I think that's his name. Sorry, I don't have it in front of me. On the Jurassic World Evolution 2 Discord, posted this picture. If you're watching on YouTube, I will post the picture. But right now, for those listening, I'm going to read it for you. It's this graphic. It has a picture of the same Darius and Allosaurus that we see on the toy packaging, and it's a beautiful high-resolution version of it. So it's the first time we see it look really great. And it says, "Adventure awaits. To celebrate the launch of Jurassic World Chaos Theory, you could win a Universal Orlando resort vacation from Branding Streams. Buy any Jurassic World item in store, and you could win a trip to Universal Orlando Resort or a Jurassic World prize pack." I had a very hard time reading that for whatever reason. So sorry about that. I'm not sure why. I don't have any more details of the contest. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's specific to certain stores or if it's any store, and if you just buy Jurassic merch and maybe you upload a photo of your receipt or the UPC or something like that. Once we get more details on this contest, I will definitely pass it along to you guys, but we saw this image today on Discord and we just wanted to share it with everybody because it sounds like it could be pretty fun. It's sort of like Darius winning a trip to Jurassic World. You could win a trip to Jurassic World. Actually, at Universal Orlando, it's Jurassic Park, but they have the Velocicoaster, which is set in the Jurassic World timeline. So that park is a little, mismatched as for which era they're going for, but most of the park is Jurassic Park themed. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm having a very difficult time speaking this episode. So sorry for everyone listening. Anyway, it's really cool. There's a contest centered around Chaos Theory's launch, and you can win a trip to Universal Orlando. So keep your eyes and ears open, and we'll definitely give you more information on that as we come across it. Hey guys, at the time of recording, we didn't know anything about this contest. However, several hours later, we started to find out a little bit more. The promotional contest is open May 1st through June 30th, and it is only for residents of Canada. For full details of the contest, hit up JurassicWorldAdventure.com. And finally, before I get into the meat of this episode, there was a new synopsis posted on Netflix. And if you're watching on YouTube and I look like I'm going all over the place, I'm switching to different tabs and different windows on my computer so I can read everything. Anyway, if you remember the previous synopsis that we got from Jurassic Outpost once the trailer came out, this one kind of piggybacks that one a little bit and, kind of hints at the same stuff, just in less words. This one, directly from the Netflix Chaos Theory page, says, coming May 24th, the Camp Cretaceous gang comes together to unravel a mystery when they discover a global conspiracy that brings danger to dinosaurs and to themselves. So, yes, it mentions the gang coming back together. This is the second time that the wording makes it seem like more than just Darius and Ben are going to be in the show. That's super exciting. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit when I go into my trailer predictions in just a minute or two. And it also kind of leans heavy into the whole conspiracy thing and danger. So this show is starting to sound pretty cool, right? And I'm going to talk about those points, like I said, in just a minute. But it has me way more excited for it because between that interview with Scott Kramer, where he's calling it a conspiracy thriller, and these two synopses we got, it sounds like it could be pretty dark. And I know that's something people have wanted. They wanted Camp Cretaceous, but kicked up a little bit to a little bit more of a mature level, a little bit of a darker tone. And don't get me wrong, Camp Cretaceous got dark at times. There were definitely spots in season 3 that were pretty dark. Like Sammy almost dying. And there's just, so many things that's going on in my head about where Chaos Theory could be going. I really don't know what to expect out of the show anymore. It's exciting to think about the whole conspiracy aspect. So I don't want my mind to go too far all over the place because I don't want to set myself up for disappointment. But at the same time, it's hard not to think about what could be going on, who could be after these kids, what kind of danger there could be, not to just themselves, but also the dinosaurs, as it's saying. So with that, let's get on to this episode. Like I said in the intro, today I'm going to give my thoughts on what I think is probably going to happen in the final trailer. Yes, we just did get the teaser trailer, but they called it a teaser trailer. As we know from all the seasons of Camp Cretaceous, about a month or so out from the release, we got a final trailer. Based on history, I say sometime within the next 10 days, we are getting this trailer. I could be wrong. Timing has been off with everything because it's a brand new series. It's not a new season of Camp Cretaceous, but my gut is telling me this upcoming Thursday, May 2nd, or the following Thursday, May 9th, would be the absolute latest we're going to see this trailer. I've got no proof of that. It's just my gut, and there's been some chatter on Twitter from some of the writers and storyboard artists talking about Choas Theory a little bit more recently, and last time that happened, the trailer did drop, so I'm probably reading way too much into their conversations, but it's exciting to try to piece this all together, but I definitely do expect a trailer coming sometime within the next 10 or so days. So with that, what do I think is going to be in the trailer? I did a decent job in my episode where I said, if I were making the trailer, which ended up being the teaser trailer, what would I do with it? I think I did an okay job with my predictions and lining up what came in the teaser trailer. So let's see how I stack up this time. I think it's going to open up with more on Ben's conversation with Darius about them being hunted. It's really going to lean into the whole conspiracy thriller of what this show is. I think they want to hammer home that's what this show is about and kind of get you hooked on that angle from the start. So I think we're going to have that scene, but an extended version of it, and possibly learn more about, who's hunting them, if they know who's hunting them, and possibly why they're being hunted. I do think that conversation is going to be expanded, and that's where the trailer is going to open up. To sort of go along with that, I think we're going to dig into Dark Jurassic a little more. And the reason is, with them owning that domain name for real, darkjurassic.com, I think that website is going to launch to coincide with when this trailer releases. So I think they're going to dip into Dark Jurassic in the trailer a little bit more. Maybe show off kind of what that website is all about, and then launch the real website to go along with it. Like I mentioned in the last episode, I've got no idea what they're going to do with darkjurassic.com, if they're going to do anything with it at all. Just because they own that domain doesn't mean they're going to make a website. But I really hope they do, and I hope it's something really fun to get people engaged and even more excited about this show. Even if it's only, 2-3 weeks before the show comes out, let's have some fun. There's been some cool viral marketing for other shows, other movies, Jurassic included. So let's do it for Choas Theory. I think if they come up with a really fun conspiracy website on darkjurassic.com for the show, it could get fans even more hyped. Like I did say in the last episode, I don't want them to have something where people can contribute their own stuff unless it's super heavily moderated, because it's going to be overrun by trolls, by people hating on the show, people hating on the Jurassic franchise. They're going to, for no reason whatsoever, start bashing Dominion, even though Dominion doesn't directly have anything to do with this show. Yes, the events in this show clearly are going to lead up to Dominion in some way, but there's no reason for people to go onto the show about an animated series and start bashing Dominion and talking about locusts, and it's going to happen if this website launches and it's open for everybody to post whatever. So I hope whatever they do with it, if they do something with it, it's a lot of fun. And I think whatever's going to go on in the trailer with Dark Jurassic is going to tie into darkjurassic.com when it does launch. Again, no proof of that. It's just kind of what my gut's telling me. I'm feeling Dark Jurassic coming soon. I am. Let's see what else about this trailer. I think we're going to get more of the Atrociraptors. They seem to be the focus in the teaser trailer, and I think they're going to be the primary threat to the kids. Should I really call them kids? They're young adults at this point. So they're going to be the primary threat to our main characters. Let's call them that. Or the Nublar 6, if there are 6 of them. still, maybe 5. I don't know. We'll find out. But I do think they're going to be the primary threat, especially with the whole theme of them being hunted. What we saw in Dominion is that's basically what the job of the Atrociraptors is. It's, to go hunt whatever Siona pointed her laser pointer at. Their mission was kill it. Don't stop until you kill it. Now, I'm thinking they're not that trained in Chaos Theory because they're really terrible at their jobs. If that is their complete training, that this is your target, do not stop until it's dead, because that means one of two things. The Atrociraptors are really terrible at their job, or the kids die. And maybe one of them is dead just based on that early synopsis. I'm leaning into, I think Brooklyn's dead. She's probably not, but just in my own head, that's what that synopsis means. But anyway, not getting into that. I don't think they're going to go there in the show that, oh yeah, these Atrociraptors, they're trained to kill. And oh, by the way, they just killed Darius and Ben. I really doubt that's going to happen, especially since we know we're getting multiple seasons of this show. It would be quite the plot twist if it did happen, though. And I can say they shocked everyone, and they were definitely going to have people hooked and watching more if they went there and just partway into this first season, they kill off Darius and Ben with Atrociraptors. That would be absolutely insane. Anyway, so like I said, I do think they are going to be the primary threat to Darius and Ben. Potentially the others when they show up. I'm not going to say if, I'm going to say when at this point, just based on the synopsis saying the Camp Cretaceous gang gets back together and, whatever the other one said in the wording that made it sound like the rest of them are there. Let's just assume that they are for now. At least 5 of them, potentially all 6, especially based on information I've been given. I mentioned it in previous episodes, so I don't think it's anything that I'm spoiling for anyone, especially with all the information that's out there officially and unofficially. But, we're going to see, at a minimum, Darius and Ben getting hunted. And I think we might see the others getting hunted depending on how much they are in the show. And with that, I do think we're going to see Siona Santos in this trailer. I know she was in my prediction for the last one that I wanted the ending scene to be the Atrociraptors show up and her kind of turn around and, we see her for the first time. And I think without a doubt, she is going to be in this show. You can't have the Atrociraptors without having her, in my mind anyway. She's kind of like their mother. She's the Owen to these things, as far as we know. So it makes sense for her to be in the show. And I don't think they would be spoiling anything by showing that in this trailer. I think it might get people more excited. Even people that were not the biggest fans of Dominion, I think they liked the Atrociraptors. They liked Malta for the most part. They liked that character. They thought she was interesting. Me personally, I've said this before, I don't think that whole sequence really had anything to do. It didn't offer much for Dominion. That whole Malta part could get taken out of that movie, and I don't think it makes it a worse movie in any way. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of action. It was fun. I would like to know more about that character, but I just didn't think it really served any real purpose in Dominion itself. So I'm hoping in Chaos Theory, we get to really build on her character and the Atrociraptors and, what the point of them was and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about that. And then if she's already working with Biosyn, that could be the threat to the dinosaurs. We might learn in Chaos Theory that, yeah, Biosyn was given sole collection rights of these animals, and oh, they're the good guys, they're doing this. But Darius and Ben uncover that, they're up to some really shady stuff. They're stealing dinosaurs. They're unleashing dinosaurs in the wild to cause havoc, to make them go and rescue them so they look like the good guys. Who knows what else they uncover, I think this could be pretty exciting. But like I said, Atrociraptors, my thinking is the main threat. We're going to see a lot more of them in the trailer, and I think we're going to see Siona Santos. Someone else returning that I think we're going to see is the Allosaurus. I think we'll get more Allosaurus clips, and I think the Allosaurus is going to be the secondary threat in this season of the show. The Allosaurus is going to kind of play the Toro role, where the Atrociraptors were the Indominus, the primary threat to the kids. in Camp Cretaceous, I think the Allosaurus is going to be more Toro, that it's a threat, it's ongoing, but it's not the biggest threat to the main characters. And another parallel with Toro is Toro was on the toy boxes with Darius, and the Allosaurus is on the toy boxes with Darius for the Chaos Theory toys. So that's not why I'm thinking the Allosaurus is the secondary threat. I'm thinking it because what we know so far about the show, the Atrociraptors make the most sense to be the primary threat. You know, if you asked me a month ago, I was not thinking that. I was not thinking anything at all. I was thinking Allosaurus all the way. This show is taking place in California, and the Allosaurus is going to be the primary antagonist dinosaur, and it's going to be the biggest threat to the kids. No, I think it's secondary now. It's going to play its role, especially for however long they're going to be in California, just based on some wording from that interview with Scott Kramer. We can be going all over the place, you know, and that synopsis, I think, mentioned it's a global adventure. So if this season does move beyond California, I think while they're in California, the Allosaurus is going to be a secondary threat to them. And, you know, how big of a role it's going to play, I don't know, but I do expect to see it more in the trailer. It's going to be more than just a cameo dinosaur because it is on the packaging of the toys. So I think they're going to make it a point to say, like, hey, this dinosaur is kind of important to the show. So I do think we'll see more of it in the trailer. I think we're going to see at least one more dinosaur in the trailer that we haven't seen yet. So I don't think we're going to see the Beckel Spinax again. I think that small clip of it ramming into the vehicle, I think that's all we're going to get until we see it in the show. So I think we're going to get another one we haven't seen yet. It could be something returning that we saw in Camp Cretaceous, or it could be something else completely brand new. I don't know. Based on some of the toys or the Legos, I have some ideas of what it might be. But like I said, those things may or may not actually be in the show. They could just be toys for the sake of being toys. I don't know. I've got an idea. I've got one that I'd be pretty excited if we did see it, but I'm not sure. So I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to potentially spoil anything for anyone out there that hasn't been paying attention to the toys that are either officially released already or announced or unofficially announced, depending on where you get your information from. So I will save that. I'm just saying there's one in particular. If we see it in this trailer, I'll be pretty excited about it. And I'm not sure how you all will feel about it, but I think you might be excited about it too, you know? And based on the descriptions, I think we're going to see definitely at least one of the returning Nublar 6, possibly everybody. I think the end of the trailer will probably be all of them together. And by all of them, I mean either 5 or 6 of them. At this point, I'm assuming Brooklyn isn't in the show. Just like I said, I was told by someone, a very reliable source, that she's not in season 1. I hope that's not a spoiler to anyone. But based on other information, you know, it sounds like one of the kids isn't there. You know, that official synopsis that came out with the teaser trailer says what happened to one of their own. That makes me think, and it makes, I'm sure, everyone think someone is kidnapped or killed. Based on being a kid's show, it's more than likely kidnapped. They could think this character is dead, but is just kidnapped. You know, I'm leaning towards they are actually kidnapped, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I was hard into Brooklyn's dead, so I'm staying on the path. Brooklyn's dead. It could be any of the others, but Brooklyn makes the most sense just from what we know of her as a character. She was snooping around Lockwood Manor. She was always getting her nose in other business. She was always, you know, trying to find what was going on with everything. So based on that, it makes sense. And then based on a casting perspective, Jenna Ortega is so busy. I don't know exactly when they were recording the voices for the show. I have an idea, but I don't know exactly. And if I did, I wouldn't be able to say, because who told me about the production timeline asked me not to share anything. So I, you know, will honor that, and I respect that person. So I'm not going to divulge any of that information. But she could have been filming any of her movies. You know, she's in the new Beetlejuice movie. She's in like 1,000 horror movies. So she could have been busy and just couldn't have gotten around to it. Or she is popular enough, maybe they couldn't afford her, even if it was just for one episode. I find that hard to believe, but maybe she wanted a bigger role and just didn't have time to commit to it, so they had to sort of write around that. I don't know. She makes the most sense to be the one character that isn't there, if you think about it. None of the other ones really fit into the idea of being missing or dead. I guess maybe Kenji being Daniel Khan's son, but that doesn't make sense to me. He was living with Darius, and we don't know what happened between them in those 6 years, or I guess it was 4 years between when we last saw them and when the show takes place. So hopefully we learn more about that in the show. I don't expect any of that in the trailer, but he would be the only other one that made somewhat sense, and I don't really see it. So to me, Brooklyn is going to be the missing one. So I'm kind of thinking the end of the trailer is going to show the 5 of the other ones together, probably standing, either in a semicircle or all side by side sort of thing, in kind of like a panic mode. They're, looking stressed out, or they're in a situation that they regret being in, or they're in danger, something like that. That's kind of how I envisioned the last shot of this trailer going to be. I kept trying to think of what kind of words or phrases they might have in the trailer. They're always pretty good with, after the park is closed and the kingdom has fallen, and, where chaos comes home, stuff like that. I was trying to think of maybe what they could say. I've got no idea, though. I am not creative when it comes to writing or anything like that. So I'm not even going to guess as to what wording they might use in the trailer. But that's really all I was able to think about for this trailer. I've spent a good amount of time building up this trailer in my head. If you're on our Discord channel, everyone is kind of like every day twiddling their thumbs, waiting like, is today the day we're going to be the trailer? And we know it's not, but we're hoping for it, and it's fun to talk about it with people, to get excited about it. We have our hopes up. So this is cool. We're excited for the show, and I hope you guys all are too. And it's exciting. The show is less than a month away at this point. We passed off the 1 month point a few days ago, and we're in the home stretch now. The final trailer is going to be dropping literally any day now. I'm expecting it on a Thursday. That's why I gave the dates of May 2nd or May 9th. I could be wrong, but a Thursday somewhere around 10, 11 a.m. is when I'm expecting the trailer to drop. If it's some other time, great. I'll be more surprised. But I know my eyes are going to be glued to Twitter or to EW.com. They've had the last 2 trailers as exclusives. Not the initial announcement trailer for Chaos Theory, but the Chaos Theory teaser trailer and the Camp Cretaceous Season 5 trailer. EW had both as exclusives initially. So I'm going to be checking there. I'm going to be refreshing every couple minutes once it gets to 10 o'clock. It's probably not good for my mental health, but it's definitely not good for my productivity at work, but it is what it is. Chaos Theory takes precedence over everything right now. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on the trailer. Just small recap. I think it'll open with expanding on Ben's conversation with Darius about them being hunted. Learn a little bit more about that. Go into the whole conspiracy thriller aspect of what this show is about. I think we're going to learn more about Dark Jurassic. I hope darkjurassic.com launches along with this trailer. It would be great. We get another EW article talking about the show, giving a little bit more information, and say, and to coincide with the release of Chaos Theory, darkjurassic.com, a conspiracy theory blog, blah, 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 has launched today. That would be really cool. I think we'll get to see a lot more of the Atrociraptors. Their role is going to be the primary threat to the human characters. I might be wrong, but it makes the most sense. Like I said, them being hunted and everything, the Atrociraptors make the most sense to be the primary threat. I think we'll see more of the Allosaurus. That's going to be the secondary threat, kind of play that Toro role, if you would. And maybe we'll learn a little bit more about something from the Big Rock time. Maybe we'll see Nasutoceratops with it. The mom that was there with the baby. I know this is a couple years after Battle at Big Rock, but it's possible they're all still in the same area, and maybe we'll see kind of not necessarily a rematch, but we'll see those two together again on the screen. That'll be kind of cool, just as a little nod to Battle at Big Rock, which was an absolutely fantastic, short film. And speaking of the Allosaurus, someone pointed out online when they looked at that high res rendering of the Allosaurus that's on that contest image, you could see some like scratches on its face and whatnot. So that's probably battle damage from what happened to it at Battle at Big Rock. So that's really kind of cool. What else did I say? Yeah, show another dinosaur that we haven't seen yet in regards to Chaos Theory. We may have seen it in Camp Cretaceous, but possibly not Chaos Theory. Now, could it be something like Bumpy? I don't know. We have no idea what the status of Bumpy is. Bumpy was last on Manticore Island. If the dinosaurs got off Manticore Island, I hope they explain how. I don't want to go back to Manticore Island. I don't want them having a flashback showing them removing them. Just leave that island in the rearview mirror. It's in the past. But I would like an explanation as to how Toro or Bumpy or the Spinosaurus or whatever was removed from that island, how did they get back to the United States? If they're in the United States, to Malta, to Biosyn Valley, wherever they are, I want an explanation. And, whatever else there might be there. We don't know what all was at Lockwood. There could have been other dinosaurs that we saw in Camp Cretaceous that we didn't necessarily see in Fallen Kingdom, but Colin did say we only saw what J.A. Bayona decided to film. I think that was, I'm paraphrasing his words, but he said there were a lot more dinosaurs that were there. We only saw the ones that he showed us that were in front of the camera, basically. So some of the other Camp Cretaceous dinosaurs could have been there, and maybe now they're there and they make an appearance. I don't know. Or it could be something completely brand new. Again, not going to spoil anything based on toys, but I've got a couple ideas and one that gets me kind of excited that, we'll see. And finally, I think the trailer is going to wrap up with a shot of 5 of the Nublar 6 all together in some sort of panic or danger situation. They could be together to, mourn whatever happened to the 6th. Like I said, maybe this person is kidnapped but assumed dead. Maybe they are dead. We don't know. But it could be a shot of them all getting together to talk about what happened to the 6th one of them. Again, personal thoughts. I think it's Brooklyn. But who knows? We've got less than a month and we're going to find out. So, yeah, those are my thoughts and predictions on what is going to be in the trailer that we should see sometime in the next 2 weeks. I'm thinking even less than that. It could be less than a week. It could be this week, guys. It could be this week. I'm not sure. But marketing is ramping up. We're expecting to have this trailer soon. A new contest is launching. I don't think that contest officially launched yet because, like I said, I have no other details on it, just this image that was shared online. And like I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, once I get more details of that contest, I will share it with everybody so all of you can enter the contest, unless it's limited to, certain ages or certain regions of the world. It's probably limited to residents of the United States, I'm guessing. But we'll see once all the contest details are out there. Hey guys, like I said earlier, we do now have details on the contest. Hit up JurassicWorldAdventure.com for all of the rules and eligibility requirements. And, one other thing that I mention in every episode until Chaos Theory comes out is our Cretaceous Countdown is ongoing. We are almost finished with Season 3. Can you believe it? We are that much closer to Chaos Theory. We're almost done with Season 3. And if you're unfamiliar with the Cretaceous Countdown, it is every day we are doing a live rewatch of Camp Cretaceous, one episode at a time, 1 p.m. Eastern every day. If it is going to be a different time, we will let you know. And, join us, follow at JP_Campcast on Twitter, and tweet along with us using the hashtag Cretaceous Countdown. The folks that have been participating look like they've been enjoying it, having a lot of fun. I haven't been able to, thanks to my work schedule. It's just has not been working out. I wanted to rewatch every day. I was going to take lunch at 1 o'clock, watch, tweet along, share my thoughts on each episode, but nope. Real life has gotten way too busy for me. Work has been kind of crazy. So I'm guessing that when I'm in the middle of a really important meeting is when the trailer is going to drop. Just So, so I'll look at my calendar and I'll let you guys all know, like, hey, this day I'm full of meetings. That's probably the day you can expect the trailer. But please follow along, rewatch Camp Cretaceous. Even if you're not rewatching as part of our Cretaceous Countdown, rewatch the show, freshen up. One of the, I don't remember if it was a writer or a storyboard artist, but one of the creators of Choas Theory just tweeted the other day, like, hey, how's everyone's rewatch of Camp Cretaceous going? So they're encouraging everyone to rewatch the show. So are we. Get yourself refamiliar with the show. Get yourself prepared for Choas Theory. It's in less than a month. It's coming up. It is almost May. We are, just a few days away from May. So it's exciting. I don't know about you guys. As every day goes by, I'm getting more and more excited for Choas Theory. The more little things that come out, whether it be toys, whether it be this contest picture, something like that popping up is like, this is real, this is happening, it's coming sometime soon. So that final trailer, when that drops, is just going to be like, oh, it's right here, it's right in front of us, it's almost there. And if it's anything like past seasons of Camp Cretaceous, in the week or so leading up to the show, they might release small 2-minute clips of the show. I kind of hope they don't this time. I want to go in not seeing anything of the show at all, learning little bits and pieces. So far, I don't think I've been spoiled or seen anything that would like absolutely ruin the show for me. And sometimes leaks are just there and, I'm not even looking for them and I'm just scrolling Instagram and like, whoa, I did not expect to see that. And then it disappears because of a takedown notice or someone realized what they had posted. But so far, I haven't seen anything that has completely ruined anything for me. Like, oh man, I wish I saw that when the show came out, sort of thing. But if they do release small little 1 or 2 minute clips, I hope it doesn't show anything, that's too much of a spoiler or ruins too much of the story. I don't think anything they showed for Camp Cretaceous really did that. So we're good there. I'm also expecting sometime really, really soon to find out what the cover for the junior novelization is going to look like. The covers for the Camp Cretaceous ones always came out before the show. Sometimes they revealed something new about the season, like season 3 that had, season 3 showed the girls on the hang glider and Dimorphodon. So we're like, oh, okay, this is happening, And sure enough, that was in the season. It was early on in the season, I believe, right? I don't know. Those of you that just rewatched season 3, let me know. But yeah, the cover can reveal some new information. Some people might think it's a spoiler. I don't know. So depending on what is on the cover, I may or may not share it. If I do share it on Twitter, I'll blur it under the sensitivity filter. That way, if you don't want to look at it, you don't have to. If you want to see what it is, click on it to uncover it, but I won't share it, on a video or anything like that. So you guys can avoid it if it does potentially contain any spoilers. But that about wraps up this episode. If you want to follow along and see what we're posting on a daily basis, at JP_Campcast on Twitter, at Cretaceous Campcast on YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Not very active on TikTok, but we try to stay active on every other platform. It is a goal of ours to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube by Choas Theory. It's a lofty goal just based on the subscribers we're at. We're somewhere in the 80s. I'm not sure where. It's, we're a very niche podcast. We don't post a lot of like toy unboxings or random Jurassic stuff. I don't have clickbait videos. I don't do a lot of like wild out there guesses on things. I'm not uploading videos every day, so I know I'm a small niche channel. So getting to 100 is, going to be a big deal. I don't expect it to happen, but it would be really cool if we got to 100 subscribers by the time Choas Theory came out. So if you are watching this episode on YouTube and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe because, like I said last time, I do plan on releasing more content in the form of shorts or really small things. I released that small video of just really quick glances of the Choas Theory toys that I got in the mail. I wanted to make a bigger video showing them off a little more, some of the features of them. And if I get a chance to do that this weekend, I will. I can't make any promises, though. I'm lucky I have time to record this episode. I had a nice little block of free time that I'm able to do this, though. So Please follow us anywhere I mentioned if you're interested in what we have to say. Most of the time we're just sharing new information we have about chaos theory, or lately every day posting about the Cretaceous Countdown. So thank you everyone for watching or listening, and look forward to chaos theory coming up in less than a month with all of you. So everybody stay safe, stay Jurassic, and have yourselves a good one. So long.